I want to point out that wasn't like a tear or some shit that was on the way my because that was so touching. It didn't make any sense to me. One of those moments literally had something in my eye. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with another episode of Space Battleship Yamato. We come back as we typically do with notes. I do have a board, and I've got one little note, which is to say, marked Shima dead, ? Unfortunately, as typically is the case, I was doing work on the board earlier, and encountered something that I wanted to update with, and spent the time working on, and then completely ruined moments before I was to start recording. So I've got nothing really to show for it at the moment. I believe you've seen it at least once in the recent reactions, so, I mean, you know I have a board. Unfortunately, if I were to show it to you now, I've got, like, overlapping lines that don't go anywhere. Again, it's the element of trying to automate the board-making process alongside my notes. I'm trying to improve things and wrecking it along the way. So anyway, on to the notes. I think, as per previous discussions about it in the first season, that space kilometers are just kilometers. They say that the Comet Empire ship is 270,000 kilometers from Earth. Well, we saw it pass by the moon when it blew it apart before, meaning that it has to be inside the moon's orbit. 270,000 kilometers would be inside that orbit, so if space kilometers were larger, it wouldn't be. So I figured that must mean that they just mean kilometers, but in space, for some weird reason. I apologize right here because I have no idea, but it's raining pretty hard outside, so if that picks up on the mic, that's what that is. Remember when we had to send a fighter out ahead of us to scout the area where we needed to warp to make sure that we didn't exit on top of debris and the like? It occurs to me that we no longer do that as I look at the backdrop of the shattered moon all around the Yamato warping in. Mission to save the Earth could have been foiled right there. I just want to remind that Dessler could have, at any point, just warped objects on top of the Yamato and killed everyone on the ship without them ever realizing where the attack was coming from. His choice, across multiple seasons, to send ships has really just been a matter of his ego. He wants the Yamato to know it was him, and that leads him to do things that are less effective to fight them. At least, this time, he takes an active role in the attack and calls out some actually intelligent orders. You know, the gameless fighters were able to target the Yamato's hangar with accuracy. One has to wonder why they didn't just target the extremely exposed bridge and wave motion gun. I think not targeting the bridges is the most damning of the two. Everything operates from there, and it sits so high on the ship as to be an obvious target. The whole mine thing was extremely stupid. They are remotely controlled. Why? How does that even make sense as a thing to do? More than that, the gameless fleet just watches the Yamato fly into the mines, has the mines attached to it, and doesn't set them off remotely? What's the point of remote detonation if you don't do it? The bombardment is so ineffectual that the crew gathers together and has a planning meeting about how they are going to invade Dessler's ship. And the gameless fleet, still firing on them, is doing not enough to even disrupt the discussion. And yet, we saw their weapons still cutting through the Yamato's hull just fine. I know I'm complaining a lot here in these notes, but this is a good episode being weighed down by the Yamato's plot armor. Imagine if everything we want to happen still did, but the damage wasn't being negated by poor writing. The Yamato struggling to survive by the skin of its teeth would only heighten the tension. Extremely ignorable attacks only draw my attention to them. Talon, I love you for being a returning gameless survivor, but turn the ship had to have been the worst call in that situation. Oh look, Kodai with his helmet off on a gameless ship. As per Yuki in last season's ending, he should already be dead. But then again, he had the encounter on Gameless itself, where I believe they also had their helmets off, so... But then they made it a point after the fact. I don't know, it's all stupid. And my final note, even though I said this already, I just want to punctuate my notes with this. One of the best episodes so far, easily top 5 of all Yamato episodes to date. My complaints are because I care and I am invested, not because I hate what I'm seeing. I know it often comes off that way. People have made a number of comments across a number of shows now, indicating to me that I complain a lot. It's not that I'm complaining specifically, it's that I'm invested in what I'm watching, and these are the things I would like to change or the things that I noticed. Anyway, those are the notes. That was commentary about the board. So I say let's go ahead and hop on in and see what we get from what I assume is going to be Dassler's final appearance.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
You know, oddly, and I don't know, you guys are even going to notice this, I think the the volume of the opening has just gotten louder as we've gone along. I'm really hoping Season 3 is going to have a different opening. Because, God forbid, this is still the opening from Season 1. And I know, I've complained every time, but I'm moving on from that. I was just reminding myself the other day, making myself a personal schedule for recording the stuff I do solo. What the watch order is for Yamato. And I think we've got, 2 or 3 movies before we actually get to Season 3? It might be 2 movies, I don't remember. I've got it on a to-do list. Actually, I just look over here onto this window over here. This is where I'm looking when I'm watching the show. This is whether I'm looking if I'm regarding the camera or my recording setup. This is Discord. So sometimes my other co-recorder, whatever, and my notes. Or whatever. Let's see. We have the 3 episodes, including this one. Yeah, New Voyage, Be Forever Yamato. Okay, it's 2, and then it's 3rd season. This is very much just like the end of the first season too. I think Kodai was hurt the same way there. And then she's still upset about Shima, who, again, may be dead, but I'm not going to believe Shima just upped and died. I'm assuming Talon's also going to die. Probably the first one to die. To avenge the people of Gamlis, he said that. Can we also note that Talon hopped in a spacesuit, went outside to start fighting, then came back inside and took his spacesuit off? It's been a year. It's only been a year. I mean, he has evolved as a character, though. Doing a quick draw? No, that was an extremely slow draw, if anything. It does mimic the movie, though. You can't aim with your other hand? Yeah, he's giving him all the time to shoot him. I think he wants to get shot. I apologize for poor. I just realized that the subtitles were the wrong set. They should be visible on screen again now. And both of these people should be dead from radiation poisoning. There's no way Dessler's gonna shoot Yuki. He's got somewhat of a personal code, I feel like. Because I feel like they're still going to be pulling from the movie, you know, where he just airlocks himself, essentially. I mean, Earth meant a lot to you. You were trying to move your people to it. Did not the entire death of the Earth Defense Fleet at the hands of your fleet prove that as well? Please don't be you showed me love. I feel like it's more Domel than Dessler. What about all the women we've seen you with, Dessler? At least in season 1. You already said you turned your back on them last episode. This turn doesn't make any sense. And I already said before that I don't think there's any way that humans are going to, or people from Earth, I don't know what to say, are going to forgive. It would be insane if they teamed up, like I said before. I want to point out that wasn't like a tear or some shit that was on the way my, because that was so touching. It didn't make any sense to me. One of those moments literally had something in my eye. I don't know how to feel about this. One hand, Dessler's still alive. Like that, because he's my guy. Sort of. I just don't feel like this turn makes a lot of sense. And ultimately, what's the point of this little arc? Haha, we fucked up your ship. I learned a lesson. Go save Earth with your fucked up ship. See you in season 3! Or 2 upcoming movies. I mean, if they were going to do this anyway, they should have just gone back to Pluto. Like that ship I keep saying was going to Pluto to set up a base. I mean, why would Analyzer? Analyzer has a thing for Yuki no matter what Kodai's doing. I anticipate that our whole crew isn't going to die like they did in the movie. Kashima's dead, okay. I don't anticipate he's actually dead, though. As I said, Shima has got a lot of removable parts. And we haven't had our death fake out yet. I'm not counting what happened in this episode as a death fake out, because I never thought Kodai was actually dead. Unless that's why we showed the kid earlier. Like as a twist of the knife. Wait, am I getting this wrong? Is Shima not the one? Because he's the one. Yeah, he's the one with the removable parts. I don't know, maybe Shima is dead. What, you mean the paperwork? The paperwork would be the instrument of surrender. I mean, look at this. Instantly, none of the damage matters. We're ready to keep going. I was looking at Yamato was the one that was burning and everything like that, and now it's Domel's ship. Yeah, I got Sonata and Shima backwards. Which I'm sure the unreleased episode that you haven't seen yet on YouTube, which is last episode, y'all are gonna kick me in the ass for that one. I don't know, ram it and board it like you did the other one. I'll be honest, I don't get it. Top and bottom just doesn't strike anything to me. I mean, I understand this. I didn't need the flashback. I just don't know how it applies to the Comet Empire ship. I mean, unless they go under the water where they parked it and, like, fire up. Yeah, remember you near genocided the Gambless people? To be fair, they almost near genocided the Terran people. I don't know, I think if my eternal enemy up until this point had given me information, maybe it's worth considering. By which I mean it could be a trap. I mean, I don't think it is obviously a trap. I just mean, if my worst enemy had given me a clue on how to defeat another enemy, I'd think about it for a bit. Look at that, all that damage to the sides and the outer hull of the ship, repaired in a moment. Just when I was second-guessing myself about this guy actually being dead. Not a scratch. I guess I understand concussive damage can actually kill you too. It's a giant Teresa. Is that her Starsha? No, okay, no, it's obviously Teresa. That's Starsha and her boy toy. We're coming to save. I guess to be fair, she could have been capable of warp too. I don't mean warp 2, I mean warp as well. But yet alive. Classic anime fashion. Tears bring people back to life. I mean, I like that she's not dead. She's a good character. It's also a good way to bring him back at the very end. We just never come back to them again, and at the very end, she'll show up with him at her side. I wanted to add the president to the board, but apparently in all the listings that I've got, he's just not a listed character. I guess I should take a screenshot of him next time I get the board working again. I mean, we know information has been tried to be kept from them that wasn't at all.
地球連邦政府代表が出発したようです。調印なんかさせるもんか。きっとなんとかしてみせる。
Much more stormy on the other underside. Also, given the size of the Comet Empire ship, you'd think you'd be able to see it way closer. Oh, and you know, a ship full of crew. I keep thinking they're going to execute the president. Maybe that's what that meant. This is when the FBI comes rushing through my door. By the way, if they're not... Why is that in space? If they're not successful, they've damned the human race for betraying their own surrender. I would say that Kodai is acting basically as like a rogue military commander, but he did steal the Yamato, so he kinda is.
地球時間午前10時を期し、水星帝国要塞都市への攻撃を開始する。直ちに危険水域より退去せられたし。いかん。もう遅い。
I mean, you signal your declaration.
無駄です。何？覚悟の行動でしょう。説得に応じるとは思われません。バカな！我々があえて幸福の道を選んだわけを忘れたのか。官を反転せよ。召喚！やらせてやってください。これが最後の。
Honestly, I don't think you should turn the ship around. I think you should keep going and sacrifice yourself to the cause to make it look like nothing's amiss. Then when you turn around, they're going to think something's amiss. Although, to be fair, they should detect the fighters in Yamato. I don't know why they haven't. How good or bad scanner technology is in this universe is very confusing. Especially because we got the pass radar, if you remember, that we've never used again. See, Yamato can detect this ship from 270,000 kilometers away. Can't detect fighters, but 30 kilometers away. Yeah, we haven't seen that weird recruit in forever. Did he die? Not really challenging it if they don't know it's coming, other than the fighters. Oh, back to space. Giving it away a little bit. Sorry, it's just the element of when he says, for the Earth. And it's like, is it really? Is it really for the Earth? Because we know that the Comet Empire just wants to use the Earth as like a resort planet, basically. And I mean, I guess they're going to go into the same assumption as whatever happened to every other race that they've taken. That they're just going to use them as like slave labor or something. But this is really more about the human population than it is the Earth itself. Because you could argue when the Gameless attack, that was for the Earth. Because Gamlis was destroying the friggin' planet. So I'm just keeping an eye out to see if there was any notes. Last time was like the first note that we've gotten in forever. I don't know. The element here is it's one ship, right? Comet Empire main ship took out the entire friggin' Earth defense fleet. And it's the hero ship, you know? It's literally been totally decimated by Dessler and the Gamlis fleet to the point where they've got most of their main guns are out. I think the implication is that the ram took out the wave motion gun. So all they have is torpedoes and the fighters. Despite the fact that the Yamato looks perfectly fine from the outside. So, something we kind of had to get used to from season 1. And I have no doubt, of course, that they're going to take out the Comet Empire. The question in my mind is at what cost, right? Because the movie, the cost was a number of characters and the Yamato itself, and Teresa, in fact. But that's a completely different Teresa, despite the fact the ending credits still has that version of Teresa. And this time we have somebody else. I mean, maybe that's what they're going to do again. Maybe this Teresa is going to leave Shima in her ship and do the same thing. As what she did in the movie. I mean, although, again, there she was antimatter, so the destruction was because of her touching regular matter. And this one has just a completely different power. I don't know what's going to come to pass here. I don't know. I think I was more in favor of the element that Earth was just going to surrender. The Comet Empire had planted their ship here, and that this was going to turn into a sorry, the name in my head now is V for Vendetta, but that's the wrong thing. What's the name of the alien invasion where they look human, but they actually turn out to be reptiles underneath? Is that V, right? That's just V? No, whatever. If you know what I'm talking about, if you're a fan of classic science fiction, ironically, I think it would have been airing around the same time this would have been. It's just on American TV versus Japanese television. Sorry, now I can't remember. I couldn't remember for a second why I was even bringing up V. The idea that V as a show is like in episode 1, or movie 1, whatever version of it you watched, they uncover the whole, there are reptiles underneath and they want to eat us, or something. Yeah, I think it was us. And it's the resistance against that, and also, telling people what the truth is and whatnot. That dealing with the Comet Empire ship here would become more of a character-based thing than a ship-based thing. Now, I get it, the show is called Space Battleship Yamato, but I think after having 2 seasons of establishing the crew of the Yamato, we could have them doing a Earth-based resistance thing with just the characters. And I would have been wholly down for that. That would have been, we can work on the character interaction and relationships more, rather than this ship that just self-repairs every episode. So, I was kinda down for that. But they just showed us the next time on that the Comet Empire ship's gonna be back in space again. So, I don't know. Seems more to me that we're doing a Symphogear Season 1 to Season 2 thing, where the Comet Empire has effectively ruined the moon. And that was the thing in Symphogear Season 1. There was a giant cannon that shoots the moon and basically kind of destroys it. And then in Season 2, it's like, the moon's fucked, it's coming down, it's going to kill us all. It's like, whoa, this show is really keeping one plot point and holding on to it for the next season. I want the Yamato to be at least as serious as Symphogear. But yeah, obviously I didn't believe Shima was dead, and then I had a moment of self-doubt, which is always the moment that an anime will turn itself around. And there we go, it's Teresa and Shima. And I don't think the element of he has a weak heartbeat or something like that is actually going to be, because they wouldn't do all of that if they were just going to kill him, right? I would be supremely surprised and give some props back for being wholly unpredictable. Because I can't imagine, you've got no heartbeat, I love you, I love you, I love you, and then he actually just dies. Especially because it didn't happen this episode. The element is obviously he's coming back. Which means ultimately, nobody died. In fact, I can't recall anyone dying this season yet. And I don't mean anyone in, shot explosions of the Yamato blowing up. You have plenty of that before. Not to be crass, but those aren't people with faces or names. We haven't had any named deaths this season that I can recall off the top of my head. Obviously, it's been a while, but here we are. Unless, the weirdly animated recruit just suddenly never shows up again, which I'm completely down for, dead or not. The element is he didn't bring anything but like comedy relief to anything, so he's not needed here at the end. Yeah, I don't think I've got anything else left in the brain worthy of discussion. The disappointment with whatever's going on with Dessler, because I don't think that introspection was earned. Because, like, in the movie, he felt a little bit more distant when he says all of that. His regrets seem like internalized, and he just acts upon them, which is fine, I guess. I didn't have any real problems with it. But here, he's saying it all out loud, and it doesn't make sense what he's saying. And I just didn't appreciate that as much. Because the element, oh, you were willing to die for your Earth. What, you mean the entire way they came there, fighting all of your forces along the way, and then they destroyed your planet? Effectively. Yeah, I think they kind of proved that they were willing to die for Earth and that they cared for Earth. What the fuck are you talking about? So yeah, Dazzler's turn at the end, unless he's faking. Unless he's like, I can talk my way past Yuki. But that doesn't make any sense either, because, he picks up the gun and gives it to her. Like I said, Dazzler feels like he has his own personal sense of something. There was no chance he was going to shoot Yuki. I guess there would be, like, no joy in it, right? Hey, Talon survived, though. I thought Talon would do something stupid, get himself shot, but didn't. Still alive. 2 surviving, faced Gameless people. I thought that guy on the carrier, when we saw him, I thought he might have been one of the Gameless people we've seen before, but all of those people are dead. There's no one left on Gameless' side that we've consistently seen. And it's a shame that his command ship is now the carrier, because that thing fucking sucks. We've seen them before. The carriers do nothing, really. And now he doesn't have his wave projection thing, which is his only trick that he failed to use correctly twice now? 3 times. 3 times now? The Dazzler ship was the best ship, obviously next to the Yamato and Comet Empire's capital ship. Yeah, I said I had nothing left to say, and then I said 3 more minutes of stuff. I think that's going to be it for now. I think anything else is going to be coming from the notes, from the rewatch. So, I guess hold on to your butts for that. So, until then, once again, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you again next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?